for all things Halloween. This is Hauntformer, and I am back with my friend Jared to review the MTV series Scream. And this is, I don't know what episode it is.
Episode 5.
Episode 5, okay. I don't know what it's called, but we're going to talk about this episode and kind of the series as a whole. So if you haven't seen it, basically it's just about this killer who goes around killing this group of teenagers at this high school, and they're trying to figure out who this is, and every lead they've gotten ends in
them making out.
Yeah. And I don't know where to start this review. It's
MTV. That's really...
It's MTV.
That's really all you have to say about it to draw really... It's MTV, you put a name like MTV, it either draws a lot of people in, or it shuts a lot of people off.
And most people who are a fan of the Scream movies, it drew us all in, but it didn't turn into more... It's not really a horror series.
Well, Wes Craven is producing it, executive producing it, so... At first, when it was announced, I had a little faith, and they mentioned it was going to be in the same continuity, well, in the same sort of universe, but now it's a total reboot, which, it's not really a reboot, it's like...
I don't...
Weird...
It's weird, it's like overly dramatic, like, it's very drama-based.
And then
there's a little hint of horror.
They're not making a Scream 5, so, which really shuts away me... to this, because it's sort of the last Scream thing left.
Last Scream licensed. So I want it to be good. And so far the suspense is being okay with this Ghostface killer, even though they don't call him Ghostface.
It's
the guy who had the mask. Anyways, it's leading up to suspense involving him, except they're not really staying on that storyline. They're kind of going off to all these other ones
and
about people with money and some
tapes getting released,
and the mayor doing... I think they should really have just stayed on the main track of finding out. I guess they had to make other interesting things, but...
To me, I would describe it as Pretty Little Liars...
With a killer.
With a killer. Well...
Whoa.
Pretty Little Liars. Not that we watch it or anything, but we know, you know, the basic premise. But basically, it's Pretty Little Liars with a little hint of, you know,
Scream.
Thriller.
And basically, it takes a lot of things copycatting off the movies. And pretty much Emma is like another Sydney. But the latest episode was okay. There wasn't a lot of Ghostface.
I was excited about it because last episode, episode 4...
It looked like it was building up more of the killer, and there was, like, no killer in this one.
And this is the episode...
The last episode was better.
The week of July 27th. Yeah. So, I thought, as a fan of the original Scream series, the franchise, the movies, I thought this new TV series had potential to be good, but I think...
it kind of... is moving on to something that maybe the younger audience, not to say we're not the younger audience, it's to say that we're not interested in a lot of things that maybe the audience
They did the same thing with Teen Wolf, except I'm gonna say Scream was more well known than the original Teen Wolf movie, which even you haven't seen all of them, but I own the originals on DVD, and I've seen both of them multiple times, and the movie totally, I mean, the show went off a totally different tangent,
It may be on the same, maybe something similar, but mostly different, and that's the same thing for this Scream. You have a few things in common, like he uses the phones, he's a killer, stalks kids, but besides that, he really could be anybody.
And I mean, the series is still going on, so it's not something like a movie where in an hour and a half it's over and we can review it. It's continuing.
It's continuing, but it's not continuing in a way that I really liked. So, now...
Episodes 1 through 5, you can continue. For episodes 1 through 5, that's, I guess, what we would judge it on, right? I mean, we would judge it on...
So, as a whole, for the whole series...
So far, because...
So far, I'm going to personally...
1 through 5? Or are we doing 1 out of 10?
Yeah, we'll do 1 through 5.
Okay.
Like skulls. I'm gonna give it... 3.5 skulls. And there's a few reasons. One, I think a 3 skulls is kind of average. So it's kind of like an average crime show, average thriller show, average drama show, but it also includes that little hint of Scream, which would boot it up to the 0.5. So 3.5 skulls for me personally. And then Jared.
To me, I am going to give it a... I originally thought 1.5. And I don't know.
Will you choose?
I'm thinking a 2.5 now. Really, because I thought about it, because I was going to mark it down for episodes 5's ending, which I thought was very, if you've seen the episode, you know what we're talking about. Where Emma and the one
guy, I still don't know their names.
The hair, and that's the thing. These characters are kind of forgettable. You know them, and you don't. Their names are very.
There's only a few characters that you'll know, and then the other ones
Emma's
is like
the new Sydney. But the last ending, I was going to downgrade it because it ended in such a cliche way, and especially on a channel like MTV, I thought, well, that's just, it would have ended, and we discussed this a few minutes ago, that if the Ghostface killer was seen, at the end as like a, stalking sort of thing,
yeah,
it would have made more sense. But it didn't, so I was going to give it a 1.5, but I thought, no, because that would be too hypocritical of movies like Friday the 13th, and basically every slasher movie, which, stuff like that's a trademark.
And this is a TV show, too.
And it's a TV show, it's got to get attention.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that was a problem, I'm saying, in terms of cliche, I mean, really, this whole show it's borderline cliche, but it's entertaining, because it's a mystery. So, without carrying on and rambling on for too much, I'm going to give it a 2.5.
2.5 from
for right now.
Jared's mouth.
And
now, before we go, there's one other thing we're going to do, and if you don't want spoilers, don't watch this part. We are going to now give our opinions on who we think the killer is. So, staying along with the thing we've seen in all Scream movies, I'm assuming that there's more than one killer, most likely. Or if there's one, I'll say mine.
And I mean, it's the 21st century, so, and it's got to be an adult. I mean, it could be. It's most likely an adult figure. Because I don't know who would. They want
to make it seem like it's one of the kids, but I think they're not going on that route. So personally, I don't know about Jared, but I'm going to say it's either the cop, like the one who likes Emma's mom, or it's the teacher.
No, that's what we talked about.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
We taped this, and I think
so. It might be one or both of them, or neither of them.
I think it could be. I don't know why would they team up, because they seem like total opposites, but
they don't seem to. Yeah,
it could be. I mean, I think people aren't gonna really care if they say they did team up, but those are my predictions. I mean, we both sort of agree on that. And I mean, it's the 21st century. I mean,
they have to change it up.
Yeah,
it could be anybody for all.
And they could have. I mean, in Scream 4, we saw they had cameras attached to the mask. So I mean, they could. So
it basically could be anybody. But that's just our opinion. But I want you in the comments to let us know, who do you think the killer is?
And do you like the show?
And do you like the show? And should it continue? And what do you like? What do you not like? Let us know in the comments below, because I know a lot of you were asking about the TV show. So, I hope you all enjoyed this R.I.P. review. Make sure to check out more. And remember, for all things Halloween,
this is
hauntformer.